Alpha Andromedae 2 is well on its way to its equatorial solar belt, and we now have the means to manually import silicon from elsewhere in the solar system. Next stop, electromagnetic turbines and a certain other type of as-yet untapped ore. Hello, Legion, this is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Dyson Sphere Program in our Alpha Andromedae series. So we have a little bit more silicon on us with which to build some more solar panels, but I do need more copper. As you'll recall, this is the resource that we are low on. We'll also need more circuit boards before long. I'm always tempted to call those chips, but the reason I don't want to call them chips is that there is a resource that emerges quite soon. Matter of fact, we don't quite have it researched yet, but it comes after these microcrystalline components, which we can now build in the production chain. So we'll get to those, but there's an actual resource called computer chip. So these are just circuit boards, and when you look closely at them, of course, they're circuit boards. It's just from a distance, the icon, it makes me think chip. Hopefully I'm not alone in that, but I will do my best not to mix those up as we go forward so that you can follow along with what I'm building. So let's get a few more solar panels built here as we begin the episode. I think I also still have a fair amount of foundation, which is good. Of course, one thing to keep in mind as well is that we have limited amounts of soil pile. You can see me consuming it on the right side of the screen there as I build these foundations. And so what I'll need to do is build things that flatten the world in order to generate additional solar pile or soil pile for the solar panels as we do this. All right, so we're in mostly good shape here. What I'm doing at the moment is just, of course, getting the ground in good shape to support what I'm trying to build. Let's see if we can build. Okay, I need additional steel before I can do more of that. But in the meantime, we have some solar panels we can place and more that we're building, so let's go ahead and do that. Remember that we can drag select 1, 2, 3, 4 presses of the plus key, and I can just, like so. We have a few more construction drones working for us now, so things are faster and more plentiful construction-wise than they were before, which is always nice. Now notice on the power meter that we have a pretty significant dip happening in our power. It's going back up right now because we have some new solar panels that we've just added. But as long as the solar ring is not complete, which we're probably about a third of the way around the planet right now, I would guess. As long as the solar ring is not complete, then we will not be consistently drawing solar power. We'll only be drawing that solar power when there's sun on the side of the planet where the solar panels are. But the nice thing about having an equatorial ring is that once you have it going all the way around, you will have, with the exception of times when the planet is eclipsed by Alpha Andromedae 1, the gas giant, you will have solar panels at all times. As a matter of fact, I don't think that the eclipse even fully shuts off the solar panels, because I don't think eclipse mechanics have been added yet. You can see the eclipse, and there are some lighting changes, but it's not a total darkening of the skies, even when the sun completely passes behind Alpha Andromedae 1, your parent gas giant. So we'll have to see. I actually don't know off the top of my head whether or not that is something I'll have to worry about. But now that I have consumed the last of my silicon, I'm going to have to go back and get some additional silicon ore. Oh, I also needed steel, didn't I? Some additional silicon ore from our new resource planet. I'm going to go ahead and grab 2 stacks of that. And I also need some stone, which thankfully I have a storage filling up with stone here. Now, one thing I'll be able to do quite soon, and that I am going to do, is produce this manually as well. The reason I'm not doing it just yet is that, as you might imagine, that will actually take the steel that we're building and the rock, and it'll give them somewhere to go, which is good. But the thing is, once you're building that foundation automatically, then something is going to be consistently producing steel. This resource chain is going to be consistently producing steel, much more than it has in the past. So I'll have to keep an eye on that, because remember that these will pull a great deal of iron off of the line going to the rest of the base. So that's probably one of the most significant potential resource hazards that I'm facing at the moment. But it will get so much more complex than that and we will just kind of take it one step at a time. So let's get a few more solar panels built here. We have up to... Oh, we've actually got 24 more built. That's nice. So let's go ahead and space them out again. Looks like we have a nice... I believe this is the sunset. Yeah, that's the sunset. So we're chasing the sunset at the moment. We're still building our last few solar panels there. I'm going to go ahead and cancel those two so that we can have some more foundation built. So it looks like that's about as much as I'm going to get right now, and that's fine. So let's actually do, just for fun, since we haven't done this before, notice in the bottom left you can see the ring forming around the equator of Alpha Andromedae 2. Let's follow this thing around. We might consume all of our energy doing so. But while that foundation builds, that's one of the reasons we might consume all our energy, let's see how this looks. Let's see how far around we go. Now watch the... We are now going all the way around the planet. So this is... It's tempting to think when you look at this that this represents half of the planet when you go from bottom to top. But it's not quite accurate, obviously. It represents, I would say, probably closer to a third or so. So we're more than a third. We might even be halfway around. What'll be really interesting, so here's the end of the line on the opposite side. Let's go ahead and place some additional ones since there appears to be room. We do have some foundation as well, so we can place that too. Thankfully not having to interfere too much. I do believe there is an ocean, a rather large ocean, saying the research speed is too slow. I wonder why that is. I'm doing just about everything I can to produce research at the moment, so there might be a resource that is backed up. We'll have to take a look. Okay, so that is all of the solar panels that I have on hand. Now let's keep following it around. So again, going back, yep, there it is. You can see at the very top. So we are definitely doing quite well. This ocean is pretty big though. So we're gonna have to do a lot of foundation, and when you're building foundation like there over spots that are this deep, that's gonna consume a lot of soil pile to bring an island up there. It'll consume more than the soil pile that it'll take to flatten this or even flatten this. So that's gonna require some effort, and I might not be able to do it with the soil pile that I have on hand. But we will make do with what we have for the time being. So you can see that there is a dip daily, but it's not going to be that big of a dip anymore because the ring is most of the way around the planet. It's really quite amazing. Let's take a look at our research situation and see why it's saying I'm moving slowly, because I'm not sure that I see where the slowness is. All right, I still can't stack more than that. Nope. Yeah, these are producing literally as fast as they can. I could have additional towers producing these, and that would speed up the research process. But we are in good shape here. The research process is completely backed up with the resources that it needs. So we will just need to research what we can to speed up the process. Otherwise, we'll close that warning for now. And it looks like we're almost done with the additional construction drone. And then we'll be researching additional inventory capacity. So lots of kind of background upgrades running. Why don't we go ahead and fill up Icarus's battery there. Now, didn't I note, I think hydrogen is going to burn faster. But I remember noting in the previous episode, let's grab a couple of stacks of hydrogen. There we go. Let's see how fast it burns. Yeah, it burns really fast. It generates a lot of energy, but it burns really fast. That's unfortunate. And see, the stacks of hydrogen, since they only go 20 tall, it's really hard to justify using hydrogen as a fuel source. I would essentially have to keep a ton in my inventory. Once I have hydrogen fuel cells, all of that will change. But for now, we are going to stay safe. We're going to use energetic graphite as our fuel source. So I want to focus on finishing this solar belt, and then we can come back and expand the production chain a little bit more here. We have a couple of new resources that we can begin to build. Specifically, we have the electromagnetic turbine, and we have the microcrystalline component. We now also have the ability to make sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid can also be found on other planets, but we can artificially produce it using refined oil, stone, and water. So we haven't done that just yet, and of course we can then use some, actually sulfuric acid is not involved in plastic, but you'll use chemical plants for both of these. The chemical plant will also produce plastic, as I believe I mentioned a few episodes ago. So we have the ability using the energetic graphite and the refined oil to produce plastic. So before I go back to the other planet, I shouldn't be hovering like this, that's going to consume energy. Oh, speaking of that, hang on. One thing I can do to make that less of a problem. Let's finish checking on this real quick just to see how it's going. I can probably add another refiner. I won't just yet, but it looks like we're in good shape there. One thing I can do to help with my charging process is build, it looks like I've already got what I need to build a couple of these, so let's do that. And as I mentioned last episode, I will probably begin producing... I went back and forth, or it might have been a few episodes ago, but I went back and forth about whether or not I wanted to automatically produce these plasma exciters. But the plasma exciters are needed in order to produce wireless power towers. So having a building where I can just grab them quickly is pretty handy. So what I would need to do is transmit this resource, or transport this resource, more accurately, over here. And it would join with this particular resource. And it looks like I've got more than enough, to tell you the truth. These are completely backed up. So part of me is tempted to go ahead and just do this. Let's see. Yeah, I could totally do this. So why not... Here's what we'll do. We'll just do one for now. And I will have this splitter run out that way. And then what this will pull in... We want plasma exciters to be made here. So it'll pull those in. And then we'll just need to run a conveyor belt, which we can do quite easily. Matter of fact, I'm going to move this Tesla tower really quickly. Do I even need that Tesla tower there? Huh. No, I don't. Not at present, because of the way I have the steel set up. All right, cool. So the Tesla tower wasn't even necessary in its current location. All right, what I will do is... Oh, nice. The auto placement was working quite well there. I think. Well, kind of. It seemed to work for a moment. Yeah, that's really nice that it does that for me. Okay, so notice that it's automatically raising these to go over the obstacles, which I just cannot express how much I love that. So I'm going to let it do that. I am going to have to delete this tower and place one, let's say there should work. Yeah, that works. Now this is beautiful. This is a new feature in Dyson Sphere Program, and I'm still adjusting to the fact that I'm able to do this. But it's so handy. So what I will do is we want this conveyor belt to be raised. There. Now notice that it's automatically lifting over that conveyor belt. And now all I have to do, trying to see the best spot to bring it in. Probably here, I would guess. Look at that. It just does it for me. It's fantastic. I'm very much excited about that because it's again, they've just added it in the last patch, and it makes it a lot easier to manage getting stuff built quickly. So it looks like maybe the best way to do this would actually be to bring this around a little bit tighter. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to put the Tesla tower there instead. And then we're going to delete that. So we're starting to get what resembles a bit of spaghetti here, but it's okay. We're gonna tolerate it. We're gonna tolerate it. It'll be worth it. All right, I'm gonna manually lift this one, like so, and then we'll need to keep it to about right here, and then we can have it come down, and perfect. And now that will output plasma exciters. Beautiful. All right, so now we've got a production chain moving across here. A little bit of spaghetti there. That's our first belt that really kind of winds around and has to do some crazy stuff. The reason I didn't cover the top of that storage, by the way, is storage can, in fact, be expanded. I haven't stacked the storage yet because it hasn't felt necessary, but I'll be doing that before long. Looks like our inventory upgrade is just about finished. That's really nice. Okay, so actually, these are producing somewhat slowly. So why don't I go ahead, just for the sake of making sure we have a good production chain going here, why don't I go ahead and produce a few more of these. We're going to copy paste this recipe. Anyway, one of the reasons that I've been talking about this is that I now have the ability to build the wireless power tower. So where would the best place to place these be? I'm just looking at my resource situation here. Or my space situation, I should say. Okay. Now if I stand... Looks like I'm completely full, but if I stand between the two of these, from now on, I will be able to recharge my batteries quite quickly. So let me go ahead and fill back up with energetic graphite, which I have plenty of. Still overstocked on that, which is what I want to see. And let's planet hop. Oh, I'm in construction mode. Oops. Got to speed up a bit to achieve escape velocity. And where are we going? So that's our ice field gelatol. We need Alpha Andromedae 4, don't we? Where are you? Oh, you're close. Nice. It's right behind us. So in the solar system right now, that's about as, not quite, but it's about as close as it'll ever get to us. So now I'm just going to get to Alpha Andromedae 4, and we'll pick up some additional silicon. But there's more that we can do here, now that we're on the way. Matter of fact, I probably could have grabbed some additional resources from my home planet so that I could build some things here, but I might be able to build here regardless. I mentioned last episode that what I think I may do, this is one of the first times in the series, the first time in the series, that I'm starting to have to think about, like, what resources do I want to produce on my home planet, and what do I want to produce on planets elsewhere? Because every planet has its own power grid. So if Alpha Andromedae 4 is producing enough power to produce a certain resource, which I can then export, it'll start with manual exports. I'll have to go get it and bring it back the way that I'm doing with silicon right now. But eventually it will be automatic. And if I can put a resource on another planet that has the power capacity to build that resource and not anything else, then there's a good argument for kind of spreading your production apparatus out across planets as soon as you're able to, so that you're not consuming power all on your home planet, building things that could be delegated, if you will, to other planets. Let's go just a little bit faster here. I want to save some of my energy for the arrival, just in case. Okay. So we have arrived. Do I have any additional turbines? No, I don't. I do not. But that's okay. So it looks like we're completely backed up here, which is ideal. I guess what I'll do is just grab as much as I possibly can. That's something I would like to do while I'm here. Do I have chips on me? Or, not chips. Do I have circuit boards on me? I don't think I actually do. I've got, no, I don't. I have none, so I'll have to make them myself. I also don't have a lot of copper on me, so this will take some time. You know what? I'm not gonna do that, because if I had brought the resources with me, then I would be able to do that quite efficiently. But what I'd rather do is go back and finish the solar belt. But I mentioned in the opening moments of the episode that there's another resource that we're going to be tapping soon, and that resource is right here. We've got some titanium veins. It's a pretty significant amount of titanium as well on Alpha Andromedae 4. So I would like to get a solar belt going here, and then what I would like to do is have enough of a production apparatus set up so that I can perhaps be producing electromagnetic turbines here, which will involve recreating a lot of the stuff that I've already built on Alpha Andromedae 2, but because we've already built it once, I will do it in a little bit more rapid fashion. I could even use blueprints if I wanted to. I'm not going to, because we don't have to worry about working around oceans here, so we'll be able to configure things a little bit differently. But I could, in theory, use blueprints to very quickly just put down everything that I need when I get here. That's one of the handy things about having a blueprint system in the game. Not going to rely on it right now, because I'd rather take a casual approach and build manually, but we will be able to do that in the future should we feel the need to do so. So with that much silicon in my inventory, let me go ahead and head back. Need to keep an eye on my battery. Don't have quite as much energy because I didn't have anything to recharge me, but that's okay. So let's speed up just a little bit. Thankfully, our home planet is still quite close, so we'll be back before too long, even though we're not traveling as quickly as we were on the way over. Still going decently fast. 300 meters per second, and Dyson Sphere speed is not terrible. If I was trying to get to, say, Iota Piscium in there, then we'd have a problem. Or 57 microscopy, or... oh my gosh, Beta Camelopardalis. Nice. I just want to visit that particular system on principle. Azulfafagi. Alpha Telescopii. Alpha Cancri. Rigor. Enif. If I were to try to fly to one of those right now at this speed, it would take several episodes with not a lot going on. Although once we do our first interstellar flight, which won't be for a while, but once we do, I have a story to tell you about when I was first playing Dyson Sphere. Those of you who follow me on Twitter, you might remember this story, but it's one of my favorite Dyson Sphere stories. All right, so we're speeding up a little bit more here, starting to approach Alpha Andromedae 2. And when we get back, again, just going to grab some additional copper and just make as many solar panels as I can. The nice thing about this is that the amount of silicon that I just brought with me, I'm likely to be able to build the remaining number of solar panels that I need for my home planet, and then I can go back to Alpha Andromedae 4 and build solar panels there, which that will enable me to get the resource production apparatus going quite quickly. Speed up a little bit more. Now going 700 meters per second. And we're back. So we've landed near one spot in our equatorial ring here. I actually think we're somewhat near the base. Yes, we are. Very good. If I were to fly right now, I would run out of energy pretty quickly, so I'm just running. can probably already notice an increase in Icarus's capabilities with regard to his speed, how fast he's building things. There's also increases to how fast you can fly in interplanetary travel, interstellar travel, so lots that we can do to continue to improve how Icarus does as our platform for this. Okay, so now that we're here, let's step over this direction. And I want to grab some circuit boards and produce... Oh, wow. Really? I wouldn't have expected that. Hang on. Where is my... Remember that I set up a storage over here for the purpose of just unloading stuff when I don't need it. And in this case, I don't need it. So we're going to put that there, that there, that there, that there, that there. Looks like we might... coal's doing okay, but it might be good to establish a second coal mine. There's plenty of coal on the home planet. I'm not going to worry about running out of that resource anytime soon, but that line coming in, you can see there are some gaps in it, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. All right, so now let's grab a bunch of copper ingots, because we need mainly copper and silicon in order to build these solar panels. So the game is yelling at me for not having enough. And now I need more chips, which is the other thing. There I go again. Not chips. Not chips. Circuit boards. Now I need more circuit boards. And we still are low on those. Yeah, this is going to be probably all of the solar panels I need here, in addition to most of the solar panels that I need for the outlying world. So this is going to work quite well, truth be told. We still have more silicon, though, so I'm going to grab even more copper. I think it's the same amount that goes into it. Yeah, it's 10 of each, which is why it's chewing through those resources so quickly. But that's okay. And there we go. Now I'm out of silicon. So that is going to be all of the solar panels that I can build. Let's go ahead and... Such a fantastic soundtrack. Do I have foundation built? Yes, I do. I'm not sure that those are actually connected to the rest of the grid, so let's change that. Yeah, they weren't. Or maybe they were. Hang on. It shows that they are, weirdly enough. Although I don't think... Hang on. Yeah, it's a separate grid. So when you select the power consumption, you can tell that it's separated from the grid. I just saw that the panels were active, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. They're showing active, but they're definitely not. All right, so this... Okay, it's not quite the big ocean yet. I'm curious about how well my soil panel is going to do, or my soil pile is going to do, preparing these solar panel spots. Let's take a look. Yeah, this is where soil pile is going to start depleting rapidly. And I don't know that I'll be able to make it all the way across. We're going to try. We're getting close. But unfortunately, I think I'm out of foundation. Yeah. That's almost the whole thing. Oh, there's a spot that's not fully raised. How did I miss that? I must not have clicked on the right... Oh, yeah, I didn't click on the right spot. I might be able to change that, though. All right. So we're almost there. We can build 8 more panels, which we can come over here and connect the ring on this side. Oh, I've been recording for 30 minutes already. Where does the time go? There will now be much less of a dip in solar power every day. The reason being, obviously, that the gap in the ring is now just that wide. I just tried to zoom in on the minimap. You can't zoom in on the minimap, but if you see how close we are, you can just look here. This is it. The ring is going completely around the planet. So I just need to get things reconnected. I'm going to do that before we wrap up this episode, just so that we can have that milestone completed. We still have almost 200 solar panels building. And that's in addition to the fact that we have 4 waiting to be built already. So we're in very, very, very good shape. The downside for that, of course, is that because I'm building that many solar panels, I'm not going to be able to build this stuff without first stopping those. So this is yet another exercise in, hang on, let's see, if I were to cancel this, how much of those resources would it give me back? I'm counting. I think I'd be fine. Nope, not quite. All right, we'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and build as much of the foundation as we can. And now we'll pick up the rest of that, or rather, so that's what happens when you drop things. And I've just picked it all back up, so we're okay. It's a little bit messy, but it's a very straightforward system. The game kind of lets you know, hey, you drop something, it leaves an icon on the ground and leaves it hovering in a way that's very clear, and puts a button on the screen to allow you to sweep over things like with a vacuum cleaner. And it works quite well. All right, so we are building the foundation we need. Let's finish this solar ring up. We are seconds away from doing so. And then we'll have a very solid amount of solar power to work with. And we'll do a little bit of work building an electromagnetic turbine production facility elsewhere in the solar system. Okay. Yeah, I just mismanaged the spacing of these a little bit. It's tough to count the spaces unless you do it very slowly and deliberately. Yeah, see, I was 1 early there because I wasn't being slow and deliberate, but same there. So would it be here? Yeah, there we go. You can also use that. It's a little easier now. Research speed too slow. I don't care. Why do you keep telling me that? I don't remember. They might have changed a mechanic slightly about that particular pop-up, or it's just been a minute since I've been in the specific situation that I'm in now. But now we have almost a 50 megawatt surplus, which is quite amazing. And we have a solar ring finished up. So with that being done, we've got several more building, and I'm going to allow them to continue to build. I'm going to fly over to our recharging station so that we can be ready to leave quickly. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and grab what I need in order to build a few more of those so that I can have them on my other planet as well. What do I need? Iron? That's not a problem at all. Okay, we'll build a few more there. And those, of course, will be done after the solar panels are done. And we'll probably set up some production for solar panels, maybe on Alpha Andromedae 4. But for now, I'm going to let Icarus charge back up. Look how fast that is. It's so amazingly fast. It's awesome. And we're going to stop this episode here. In the next one, we're going to head to Alpha Andromedae 4 and begin that construction process of a full kind of secondary base, an outpost, if you will. We don't have any research going there, and we likely won't. I very rarely in Dyson Sphere Program have had more than one planet contributing to my research, but you can totally do that if you are so inclined. And for now, we're just going to focus on having research going on the home planet, but having resources sent in from auxiliary planets in order to assist our production mechanism. And the first thing that I want to do, as I've said, is the electromagnetic turbines. So we're going to work pretty quickly towards that at the beginning of the next one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. New episodes are coming out every day at noon, U.S. Eastern Time. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.